I'm gonna bring Willie up as screen. Now, what you say before about the clarity of movement and Anthony Gatto, he knows what he's doing all the way down to the end of his fingertips. This is not just about looking good on stage. It is good on stage, but talking about communicating with the audience. Like, what do you want? Like, what response do you want from the audience? And we'll talk about that in a second, but mostly, when do you want the response from the audience? So let's just quickly look here, and I want you guys to all put your finger up like this when you think the audience should applaud. When you think, as an audience, you should applaud. Okay, you ready, guys? In the Zoom meeting here. Okay, here we go. This is the end of the routine. So he's going to finish up. Lift your fingers when you think you should be you're clapping. Yeah. So what we actually have here, we have like three different possible points where we think that Willie might want us to applaud. Okay. So it's this really weird thing that we've got where he finishes, he catches the thing, and then he turns and he puts his hand up, and you think he's just going to go, woo, like this. And if he just puts his hand up and goes, swoop, we'd all be like, yes, we're all up. Like, you know, it's that motion of like, yeah, come on. But he doesn't quite do that. He says, yeah, come on. And then he swings his hand, and then he swings his hand back again. He swings around, and his hand is just, he just keeps swinging his hand around. You're like, what are we meant to be doing here? Like, if you think about a conductor of an audience, a conductor goes, huh, and everyone goes, huh, and then he goes, huh, and everyone goes, huh, like this. I mean, of course, it's not that simple, but there is a specific way, like, of the clarity of motion of, like, when it's sort of like, here, no, yes, it's almost like it's tricking us, you know, when people come out and you see this audience participation where someone goes, huh, and everyone stops and they're like, yeah, huh. Yeah, you know the audience participation trick where you trip people up. You're like, no, like that. It feels like he's doing that to us, like with his arm motions, because he hasn't choreographed. He's choreographed what he's doing with the juggling. He hasn't choreographed what he's doing with his feet, and he also hasn't choreographed what he's doing with his hand, which is totally different from Anthony Gatto. Because what Anthony Gatto does is, like, when he finishes his routine, there's a crisp clarity to it. Again, he doesn't stand there and wait for a long time, but there's a clarity to his final moments here. So he goes up. Oh, maybe a bit longer. Here he comes, and he comes down and huh. Now, even though he goes like this, and then he does a movement, there's two movements. And when he goes like that, people know, he's finished. He goes, huh. And then he bows. He's sort of like, I'm done, and now applause. And it's really clear, like, I'm finished juggling. Your turn to applause. You give me applause, and now I'm going to bow. And he continues on, and he's like, yeah, all of you guys, correct. You are applauding at the right time. And then he gets more balls. Now, here's what my little thing for performers is that you have to be super, super clear when the first applause point is going to be in your juggling act, okay? In this case, Willie, it's the same applause point, like first big applause break. What you always need to do is make sure first you don't drop before your first applause point. And then you have to make sure that your applause point is like really, really clear. Put your hand up in the chat if you've ever seen someone do a Diabolo routine and you don't know when the sequence is finished because the Diabolos are just keep going around each other. Yeah? Anyone seen Diabolo routines and they're like, oh, is this the same trick? Like, is this the same bit? Because they do a sequence and the Diabolo doesn't stop moving. Goes around the head, around the arm, around the leg, do the thing, around a bit here, floopy, around a bit more. And then they keep it going, maybe two Diabolos, and then they reach down and pick up the third Diabolo and they put it in. I was like, wait, the action is still going. Like, I can't, what are you doing here? Like, it's sort of like you just keep it going and keep it going and keep it going. No, you have to have a very clear point where you're like, this is the first time I'm stopping and accepting the audience response. And once you take that and accept the audience response, that's their time to go, oh, we don't need to look at the juggling. We're not like, oh, what's going on? Am I clapping now? It's like, no, this is the time for the audience to give your first big response, and it's your time to take the response. And you can take as long as of that as you will. But yeah, that is like what you're communicating there is you're training the audience. When I stop juggling, you start applauding, and it's a very clear transaction. It's a very clear relationship with the audience there. So that's something that's super clear here.